Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. They do mean the world to me. Like, seriously, they are what kind of keep this channel going. And not that I don't love doing the channel, but this is predominantly free content with the exception of my Patreon supporters, so it means that my content matters to you and I do appreciate the support there. Alright, so this is the daily forecast. It is for all signs. It's a broad spectrum collective reading, so the energy is going to hit you or come at you, or each one of you might experience it around a different situation. So I do speak in broad terms during these readings, but you need to figure out if and where this reading fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. Nothing's broken or wrong, right? It's just maybe you're working on something different at this time. This reading was originally created for Tuesday, the 3rd of May. Where the hell did April go, people? Really, where did the first part of this year go? It's so strange. I feel like the energy's moving extremely fast, yet very slow at the same time. It's so weird. But it's originally created for Tuesday, the 3rd of May. No, the 2nd. Maybe that's part of the problem. The 2nd of May, and it is not solely set for that date. If you're seeing it on a different date and it makes sense, by all means utilize it. Also, for those of you that watch regularly, I switch decks every month just to kind of keep the art, the feeling, the empathy, all of that interesting for all of us. But I'm interested in what you guys think of these decks, especially the Oracle deck, because I love the graphic nature of it, but it's a very I don't know. We'll just have to see. I kind of like it. I'm really drawn to it. I just don't know. The graphic nature of it is different than anything I've worked with before. So that's called the Untamed Elemental. Give me feedback on it and let me know what you think. For those of you that are new, please, by all means. Oh, and did I say that readings find us when they need to? Like, so if you're seeing it on a different date, don't worry. I think I did. So if you're seeing this other than Tuesday the 2nd of May, don't worry, you can still utilize the reading if it makes sense. Readings find us when we need them, not when we're looking for them or when they were originally created for. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop down menu. It is in there is some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about when utilizing the channel. How to support me, how to support the channel through easy ways like hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing. Sorry, it's like 3 in the morning. I don't know why I woke up so early, but it's 3 in the morning. Subscribe to the channel, share the video out, leave me a question or comment. All of those things greatly help. You can also find out how to get in contact with me via Facebook or Instagram. If you want to request a private reading, those are available. Know that I will never initiate a sale to you of a private reading. You would always have to instigate that conversation with me. And what else? I will be referring back to the Sunday underpinning energy. That is the Sunday reading that goes out for the week. In there is just another layer of energy of kind of what's going on in the background, the bigger picture, sort of what's supporting these cards that we're seeing daily. So if you hear me referencing back to cards that you don't see here in this reading, I'm generally referencing to that reading itself. That populates in the lower left-hand corner at the end of this video. So if you want to check that out, you certainly can do so. You can even recheck it out if you watched it earlier in the week and then want to refresh on it. Remember, these readings are timeless, so if you're seeing it and it makes sense, by all means utilize it if it resonates. And if it resonates, leave me a comment and let me know where and how, Let's get a conversation going, people. Anyways, let's get into these cards and see what they want us to know for today. What does Spirit want us to know? What energies are available to us? What do we want to kind of, be aware of so that we can make the most of our situation? Or dodge a situation if it's a negative reading. Alright, so let's see what the card is. This is the Ten of Wands. Not mad at this card at all. The Ten of Wands is about a completion, right? He's almost at the end of the road. He can see his goal in the distance, which is this house where he's carrying these wands to. Wands is the element of fire and that of the spirit, right? And to me, this is kind of the last leg of the hall, right? Like where we can kind of see the work we've done, what we've worked towards. We've maybe even struggled with at times, right? I get this sense, I don't know why, but from this particular Ten of Wands, it feels like we've been in this a while. We've been on this road, this path, this trajectory for some time now. It hasn't all been bad, but it has been challenging, let's just say that. We might be a little bit tired, but we haven't given up complete steam, is my feeling. You know, Sunday's reading underpinning this was no, that was Monday, sorry. Sunday's energy underpinning this was, let me just double check, transformation, the death card. So, you know, this could be the letting go of this burden, whatever that burden may be or how it manifests in your life, right? That could be the transformation that death brings about. There's a lot of heady things that I forgot to mention in the Sunday reading that also would affect some of the Sunday readings. So you may want to go back and rewatch that too. Not only do we have I believe it's a solar eclipse or it's either a lunar or solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio happening on Friday, but also Wednesday, which is Beltane, Pluto goes retrograde into Aquarius. Pluto's the dark transformer, so he always brings really interesting stuff with him. And Venus moves into Cancer, which is also very sort of like romantic, emotional, kind of maybe even melancholic period for some of us. So be prepared for all of that, because all of that is going on this week. Like the planets are shifting in a few different ways that could be affecting all of this. But back to this card. With death underpinning this, it's like we're not dead yet, right? The situation may not be dead yet, but we see an end game or a completion and we're close to it. That's this house in the foreground. It's just this is that like one final push within ourselves, within the situation, to move it forward to a point where we need it to be so that it can fully be reborn and transformed, if that makes sense, right? We understand from just the journey that this man has been on or that we have been on, our true strength. It's not all been in vain. We should honor from a place of spirit, because this is the Wands card, the effort, the energy we've put into something, whether it's a relationship, a job, a project, a hobby, a passion. We're reaching a culmination point or an ending with it that is transforming it. And transformation or death doesn't necessarily have to mean a negative thing, right? I have to say, I'm really drawn to the red of his jacket. That red gives me this sense of like energy, vibrancy. Uh, Even if we might be feeling tired or we've been at this a while, I feel like because of the redness of his coat, and this is so weird to me, I feel like we might find an uptick or resurge in our energy today that pushes us forward just a little bit more, or a little bit more faster, or with a little bit more determination, even though whatever we might be carrying, dealing with, making a decision around might feel cumbersome, let's say, or some of you might even feel like, oh shit, I'm over it. But you're not done just yet. You will be done. There is this end game, this transformation, this shift taking place. You can feel it, sense it, and understand it. But there's still a little bit more left to go, is always the feeling of the Ten of Wands. Now let's go to the Untamed Elemental Oracle. Okay, this is interesting because this is a fire sign in this deck. I just noticed because I was glancing through the book. The book is separated into different like suits in a way, even though it's an oracle deck. And one of the suits, obviously there's earth, fire, air, and water. But one of them is, and then there's what was it called? Ether, which I thought was interesting. It's these more like spiritual kind of things like rainbow and stuff like that. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like it's strange they have ladybug under fire, which I wouldn't associate a ladybug with a fire sign, but then they have her next to lava, and now lion. So what I like about this is the lion first in traditional tarot makes me think of the strength card, which is also a fire sign. It's associated with Leo, obviously, the lion. But with this lion, he's straight on, like he's looking at us, even though it's a sort of graphic kind of image. We see his two eyes pointing straight at us, including his third eye, right? Even the flame of his knowing is at his crown. Lions know their strength, their tenacity, their drive, right? They are the kings of the jungle. With this Ten of Wands, to me, it feels like it's telling us we do have the strength to see this through, to finish out the project, to take the final steps to make the transformation of the Death card that underpins this, to allow that to happen and still to continue to work with sort of strength, dedication, even a little bit of pride, because, lions travel in prides. And they're not packs. They're not, it's a pride of lions. So we might even, be finishing this out, this final push, feeling a little bit fiery, empowered, strong, tenacious. I'm not, and then that's also the red in his coat. It's not like this hasn't been a long journey or a hard journey, but it's like there's this renewed sense of push here that I'm getting from both Lion and the Ten of Wands that actually is an asset to us, right? And we know that. We're looking at things from a very present moment because I feel like this lion is staring directly at me and his knowing, this little flame above his head, he's got his third eye going and this little flame above his head says that he has the power, the knowing, the wherewithal to see this through, continue it out, and to do so from a place of uh, regality in a way, like feeling regal. And even though the Ten of Wands doesn't look so regal, it does feel like we will arrive, and we will arrive in a very big way, if that makes sense, through the challenges that maybe we've been facing leading up to this point. Let's go to the clarifiers. One moment. Six of Swords. Now, Six of Swords is about moving to calmer thoughts, more balanced thoughts, quieter space, a space of peace or calm, like gliding towards that or putting our focus on that, using our thoughts to maybe even protect ourselves or those that we love, not necessarily blurting things out or forcing things, or it's more about bringing things into balance and harmony with the Six of Swords, especially mentally. I will say this, Lion being fire, Ten of Wands being fire, Six of Swords, air feeds fire, fire consumes air. So there is this clarity of mind, even in the hard work of the spirit and the truth of the lion that we are obtaining or choosing or focusing on today that is moving us forward and probably is what is allowing us to kind of see and make that end push in whatever endeavor, project, or thing we have going on, right? The next card is the King of Wands. More fire energy, often associated with Leo, actually, to be honest, but he can be any of the fire signs, Aries, Leo, or Sag. It's interesting to me because let me look at the third card really quick and I'll tell you what it is. And the Eight of Swords. Okay. I was going to say about this King of Swords, he looks like he's looking at this guy in the boat and he's going like, where are you going? Like, don't move to peaceful waters. What are you doing? Did I okay that? That's the first initial thing that I got. And I'm like, wait, I want to see the other card. The other card is the Eight of Swords. Honestly, and this might be only for one specific viewer, I feel like there's someone, some sort of authoritative person or a person who has sway in your life that may be trying to hold you in place, that doesn't necessarily want you to move to the Six of Swords, that is trying to maybe stop it, or at least is paying enough attention to it, whether or not they're speaking about it or not, that their awareness, their attention, their energy is on you or on us as we move to the Six of Swords. There could be a little bit, remember, I believe It was, yes, I think it was in the Sunday underpinning reading, the Two of Pentacles, wasn't it? We did see the Two of Pentacles in the clarifiers. And this is kind of the Two of Pentacles thing. Am I a Six of Swords or am I Eight of Swords in this scenario? Am I being beleaguered down by the weight that I'm carrying, or am I empowered by the strength of the lion and the seeing of the finish line, so to speak, and willing to take the energy to give that little push forward? Now, the King of Swords, I also think, is a very beneficial card in this final push, right? So I feel like there's two different meanings to this King of Swords. I feel like for some of you, there could be somebody that doesn't want you to move forward in peace. They want you to stay exactly where you are, sort of stuck, worried, second guessing. They may be doing this from a place of love and kindness, but sometimes people's suggestions out of love and kindness aren't necessarily what's best for us. And so I think that could be some of this King of Wands presence here. Definitely get this distinct feeling. He's like, hey, wait, where are you going? Don't leave. I didn't say you could go. I want you to stay here, bound, trapped, not able to see everything. Does that make sense? But this definitely says to me that there's some work to be done around our thoughts, how we communicate, and how we perceive in a situation. And we might very well be releasing ourselves from it, especially with death underpinning this. Uh, in these first few days of this week, we have this full moon in Scorpio. So it's going to be an emotional let go or release, regardless of how or what we're doing. It should be a beautiful time. And with Venus moving into Cancer, Cancer is also an extremely emotional sign. So it's a good thing, in my opinion, to and Venus is all about love and beauty. So what feels right, feels connected, feels nurturing is what we should probably be seeking out. I don't know that this feels nurturing, nor is this king necessarily the most nurturing of kings. He's more of an impulsive, I see it, I want it, I make it mine kind of guy. But I feel like for those of you that this is an outside influence or an actual particular person or fire sign, they may not be saying anything, but they don't necessarily want the boat to move to calmer waters. They don't want you to stop carrying the burden, is my feeling. But ultimately, it's your choice. And this is that Two of Pentacles I was referring to. Do I Six of Swords it, or do I Eight of Swords it and stay here and hope for things to change or get better? Um, I'm not saying that they can't. With the Eight of Swords always indicates that there's no swords in front of her. She just steps forward in blind faith, with that blindfold on. She could essentially free herself. Where we may feel trapped or burdened isn't necessarily the truth. And even if we think it's the truth or the reality, the lion empowers us with the strength and the tenacity to see this through. Even the King of Wands could be associated with um, strength and tenacity, to me. So we are moving forward today. I'm going to say that. We get to choose how we move forward. If we choose to move forward in the Six of Swords, great. We slowly move forward, clearing our thoughts, balancing our thoughts, communicating in a balanced way, or maybe not even communicating at all, but doing so in such a way that brings us more peace and harmony. Or we struggle with, how do I get out of this? How do I talk to this King of Wands? How do I explain my side or find a way out? And we get maybe a little bit more trapped or confused in our thinking. I get a feeling that most of you are going to understand and go the route of the Six of Swords. So let's go to the grounding stone. What do we need to be grounding in during this time? Interesting. The truth. The truth shall set you free, as I look at that Eight of Swords card. Okay. So there's truth in the lion. There's truth in his strength. There's truth in his present time gaze. There's truth in his, just in the fact that he's the king of the fucking jungle. Like, he deserves to be respected. He should be somewhat feared. And he has like the strength and willpower to move this forward, especially with that 10 of Wands there. The truth is, grounding in the truth will help us to find the peace of the Six of Swords, will help us to move away from the demands of whomever this King of Wands might be for some of us. Or the truth might be the actual drive and desire that the King has to create and go out after what it is that we want. The truth will set us free from this Eight of Swords too, right? And we might have to do a little bit of work mentally to discover what that truth is to us and then live by it regardless of what other people say to us or think about us or suggest to us, even if they're people we love or care about. Um, uh, and they have the best of intentions. It's not necessarily our truth. Does that make sense? So keeping that in mind and grounding in that. And it's interesting we see truth too, because the grounding stone for the week is nature, and it was about finding our own true nature of who we are and where we fit in our world. And I think we're working towards that from a place of strength and finding balance, but it's up to us to do that. Nobody else is going to give it to us. We have to create it for ourselves. I hope that makes sense, you guys. That is your reading today. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button, share the video out, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell. Let me know you're here if you're new too. I always love to see new viewers and when they say hello in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.